Hi, this is Eric with Shelter KC, and we're continuing to do conversations on the bench. Um, we have been on the bench. Well, I've been on the bench. You've not been on the bench. Now from 2 p.m. Yesterday, we got till 2 p.m. today, so we're getting close. We're getting to the end. This is Allison. We've had her share with us before, and you're at Majesty Project. I'll remind people what that's about.
Yes, so Majesty Project is an up-and-coming nonprofit based out of Kansas City. I'm the founder, and we are sharing the presence and the hope of God through artwork. So it's a pretty unique nonprofit. We're going to be donating original art and prints by Christian artists all across the nation into at-risk communities to bring them dignity and hope and uplift their surroundings.
So one of the things that we certainly have done in our current renovations and then in the new building is incorporated trauma-informed design, making sure that public spaces have that warmth feeling, using lighter colors, designing things that, especially somebody that's been in trauma, kind of feels safe and secure. And art is helpful in that.
Yes.
And so one of the things that we appreciate is your guys' commitment to do that. This piece you've actually done live right here. And each time I think it's done, and it's a little bit more, and it's mostly
done.
Mostly done.
Yes.
Okay. And so there's a little more face this time than there was last time. So talk a little bit more about the inspiration of this piece.
Yes. So when I was asked by you guys to come and paint live for Conversations on a Bench, I asked the Lord, what would you like me to paint? What would be a good message? And he gave me Psalm 37:4, which says, the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. And I just saw a person on a bench, oblivious, asleep, resting. He does not know that the angel is behind him, and yet the angel is there guarding him. The presence of God is always with us, no matter where we are. Even if you are sleeping on a park bench at night, God is still with you. And that was the message that I really wanted to convey for this project.
Okay. So, one of the things that you're trying to do is not just for us, but for other vulnerable population. What was kind of the inspiration? How did this all become from you being an artist to you now being a nonprofit?
Yes. So what a crazy journey. I was homeschooled all the way through. I've drawn my whole life. I'm self-taught, and God really dropped an art career, if you want to call it that, in my lap in 2021. We were living in Idaho at the time, and he just started opening doors into the art world. And I was like, okay, Lord, that's fun. That's neat. And then we moved here, and I was expecting kind of a transition over, and I just hit closed door after closed door for a year straight. And I was like, I don't understand, Lord. Am I doing something wrong? And so in January of this year, our pastor actually went through a sermon series that talked about dangerous prayers. And the last sermon series said, if you're asking if God is wanting you to do something for him, the answer is always yes. The light is always green. And I took that and I was like, okay, Lord, I feel like you want something else from my art. And so the Monday afterwards, January 27th, the day after, I went to a coffee shop, I sat down, and for 3 hours, out of absolutely nowhere, bang, 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 there was Majesty Project. There was the vision. There was the name. You guys, I told you before, you were the first person I Googled in that 3 hours period. And it just took off like a rocket from there. So it was such a God thing.
So, one of the things is you've already have had some of the folks that are staying with us.
Yes.
See the piece.
Yes.
And they're all going to see it at 1:00. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
So I was so impacted because some of the ladies from the women's group came through yesterday, and the piece was not done. And as an artist, I'm like, oh, it's not done. How could it have any impact? And yet it was sitting there, and the ladies came through out the door and sat down on the sidewalk beside me, and they were looking at it. And one of the ladies said, this resonates with me. I was on the street a couple nights ago, And I empathize with this, and it's such a powerful image, and thank you for creating this. And I was like, oh my goodness, Lord, when you surrender and you just say yes with your gifting, he'll use it to impact people you never could have dreamed about. And I was just so blessed to get to have that conversation with them. I'm looking forward to the rest of the conversations and the reveal at 1. But yeah, if you release your gifting to God, he will use it. He will use it.
So one of the things that I actually think is neat about the transformation is people seeing that, going through the phases, because often they're in transformation.
Yes.
And sometimes it's you instead of seeing all the things God's already done, you see the things that God has not done, and none of us are ever complete.
Yes.
And seeing that process, that as transformation, the Lord builds one block at a time, and to see this strong figure, but then a little bit more muscle tone and a little bit more personality in the face, and just a little bit more gold each time. And that's a lot like the journey with the people that we're with, is that transformation comes. They start having peace.
Yes.
And then they start growing in the Lord, and they start to surrender. Then they start serving other people.
Yes.
And we literally watch that transformation happen step by step by step. And sometimes they don't even realize how dramatic it is, but we're sitting there seeing it.
Yes.
And it's kind of the same way with your art, is like, okay, it looked done to me the first thing, but now it's like, wow, this is different. This is not what I saw yesterday.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, and so that's one of the neat things, is we've got those pictures and see that life
transformation.
That life transformation.
Yes.
So one of the things as an artist, doing art at the shelter, and not necessarily being in this world, but just now, just the limited things that you've been, coming for a tour, spend a little time with our people, coming to our banquet. What's kind of the takeaways that maybe you thought you kind of knew what a mission was, and what have you now kind of gone and said, oh, that's something I didn't think about, or what's kind of your takeaways from your experience and kind of working on this project here at Shelter KC?
Well, I would say, first of all, just getting to be a part of something like this. Every day Christians live their lives, and they work for the Lord in their different vocations. And yet to get to step into something that is unique, that is really, it's literally on the streets. It's literally in the battlefield, in the moment. And to watch you guys work has just been absolutely incredible, watching the Lord minister through you, watching, hearing the testimonies, especially at the gala, listening to the testimonies, and understanding that as we get to join, that's really what Majesty Project is doing, is we are wanting to just come alongside organizations like Shelter KC in the work that you guys are already doing. Fantastic work. And instead of stepping in and changing anything, we're just aiding. We're just wanting to be here and aid you and give you the tools to work at full capacity in what you're already doing. And it's just been absolutely such a blessing to get to be a part of it. I think a lot of Christians would like to be more involved in things like this than they are. And this is such a unique way to be able to step in and really give you guys some much needed help, just aiding you in what you're already doing, which so well.
And I think it's always interesting, is all people say, man, I wish I could do that work instead of using the gifts that God has given them. And I think when you look at the Good Samaritan, the world would say the Levite and the priests were the professionals.
Yes, yep.
And the unqualified person was the Samaritan.
Yes.
Well, one, he was qualified because he gave his time and he gave himself.
Yes.
But he knew that route.
Right.
He had been on it more times.
Yeah.
He knew where to take the person.
Right.
He had a relationship with the end. So actually, who was more equipped? Now, the world would have said the priest and the Levite.
Yes.
But when he made his talents available,
yes,
and he got in the Bible.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, that's so accurate. I love the parable of the talents, because it talks about literally talents. And of course, in Majesty Project, as an artist, it is a talent. And so that parable I absolutely love because it talks about using, of course, talent in the Bible was money, but you can apply it to whatever gifting God has given you. And if you use that, a lot of people overlook the gifting they have and they'll think, oh, I don't have a gift to give. No, that is not true. It's not true. Whatever you're good at, whatever you're passionate about, surrender that to God and say, use me, send me, and he will. I am living proof that he will, because I did not see this coming. You don't often think of art as a mission, and yet he's already using it. 3 pieces are already going to you guys, and that's going to impact people that never would have gotten that if we hadn't just said yes.
Yeah, and I think it's the extra touch. It's sometimes we get so much into practical.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's those extra things that say, okay, what would a coffee shop look like? What would a hotel have? It's almost like that's not an investment we should make. That is investing in people.
The way that I like to say it is we were created with 5 senses intentionally. God created us with 5 senses to be able to experience the world around us. And those senses do directly correlate to our soul. And Shelter KC and places like that all over the country are offering 4 of those 5 senses to their full capacity, right? You're sheltering them, you're clothing them, you're feeding them, and they're hearing the gospel message. And yet, a lot of the time, the visual sense is looked over because the other they're more pressing needs. And so all Majesty Project is trying to do is say, you guys keep operating at full capacity on those 4 senses that you're working on, and let us bring that 5th sense to you at no cost to you and let you keep doing what you're doing. Because yes, exactly. You can say, is it really necessary? And a lot of people will ask that, is art necessary? Well, no, you can live without it, but try closing your eyes for 5 minutes and walking around. It's not ideal. We were not created that way. We were created to operate with all 5 senses. And so what we're trying to do is just bring that sense to these organizations while they do what God's already called them to do.
So when did you get this inspiration for this piece?
For this piece, let's see. After we had our conversation, I think it was a couple months ago when you originally had mentioned conversations on a bench. And I spent a decent while praying about, because this is my first live painting ever. I've never painted live in my life. And so I was a little nervous.
With people watching you.
Yes, people watching. I've done live drawing and I'm very comfortable with that. I'm new to painting. This is like my 5th painting. And so I was like, okay, Lord, what do you want? And I took probably a good month trying to think through what would be impactful, what would be a good verse for it. And I mean, this is a testament to God, because I could not have pulled this off without him, because I'm not a painter. So the fact that he brought this vision, it's already impacted people. It's going to go into your shelter and impact many more people, is God working. This is not us. This is not me. This is not my vision. I'm just a passenger and a messenger, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for your work and staying up so late and being here for everybody.
So we'll get to the big reveal then.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.